there, everybody! It's space weather! The sun in 171 angstroms. Some active regions in the center of the Earth-facing part of the disk. And this one here is gaining magnetic complexity. Could actually become a sunspot. We will be watching it intently. Also some active region rising on the east. Also not a sunspot. The main feature here is a large coronal hole, just about into an Earth-facing position, right underneath that new active region. Here are the magnetic field lines in 304 angstroms. Pretty strong fields coming out of the South Pole there. Note the complex magnetic field associated with that larger active region. And this coronal hole. We got about 20 tabs open in 2 browsers here, so let's move on. Check out quakes.globalincidentmap.com. Go back to the last 10 hours. Indonesia 4.9, Vanuatu a 4.9. Greece gets a 4.1. Turkey gets a 4.1. The Philippines, that's only one quake, folks, a 4.6. Anchorage gets another 5.0. Philippines 4.6, Fiji a 4.8 at depth. Fiji remains on alert eternally. 477 kilometers. Give you an idea of where that deep quake happened. Fiji and Tonga getting hit on the daily. And let's head to Volcano Discovery. So far today we've got Krakatau, Shivaluch, Tukono, Sabancaya, and Ibico. Intermittent emissions from Sabancaya. Krakatau's got a 4,000 foot ash plume. Ibico's got a 10,000 foot ash plume. Let's take a look at the last 6 hours on the ACE satellite. BTBZ is converging. We've got missing data across the board on every satellite we look at. Just before midnight UTC. Phi angle showing a weak connection to that coronal hole. We're expecting that to strengthen any time. Solar wind density is at like 5 protons per cubic centimeter, and the solar wind speed has continued to drop down. We're at about 440 kilometers per second. Let's take a look at the Gong 2 to see if that gives us any indication of that coronal hole connection. Please note the orange line here, stretching from the Earth to the Sun. When that line gets to, let me pause that. There's the main part of the field from the coronal hole. And we're looking for that orange line to start to connect to that area. Again, keep in mind this data is 2 hours old. We will leave links to all the sites that we're looking at. Next, we head to spaceweathernews.com. Missing data on the X-ray flux slightly after midnight UTC, a couple hours later. The Discover's got missing data currently happening, it looks like. Magnetometer's got missing data. KP is up to 3. Your Cygnets forecast, we'll let that play through. Keep in mind that's from Christmas Eve through tomorrow. Electron flux also has missing data. You have a kind of an uncharacteristic spike right here at midnight. Usually we get a drop off. So something to keep an eye on. We do have some charging hazards also for our satellites. And there's your F2 ionosphere layer. Looking a little bit anomalous, as it has in the last month or so. Not really anomalous, but you're going to have a charge disparity in that area, otherwise known as the South Atlantic Anomaly. Here's your aurora forecast. Pretty serious auroras there at both poles. Take a look at your magnetosphere movies. Here's the velocity. Here's your density. And just keep in mind, everybody, that the white part is low density and the dark part is high density. It may seem counterintuitive, but that's how the magnetosphere works. And here's your pressure, which is pretty much how you would expect it to look based on the angle of attack of the heliospheric current sheet. Next, we'll check out magnetic perturbations over the globe on the ground level. See some oddly separated blobs of magnetic charge. Magnetic field, rather. Let that play through once more. Looks like two different fields going on in the north, really end in the south. So let's look at it from the polar view. And from this view, it's not as odd looking as it was from the globe view. Nothing too noteworthy there. And here's the US Doppler radar view from AccuWeather.com. Just to give you an overview of what's going on in your area if you are looking. Here's your NASA GOES water vapor map. Note the interference lines all over there. We've been seeing this for a couple days. Not sure what's going on with it, but we will look at the cosmic rays. First, we'll go to Athens, Greece. Look at their cosmic ray monitor. Been a small spike. Although we still haven't reached a level as high as we were on Christmas. Next, we'll look at Mexico City. Small spike there, not really noteworthy. Moscow. Please don't say Moscow. It's pronounced Moscow. Nothing too significant there either. We'll look at Oulu, which is in Finland, by the way. Tiny uptick, nothing really noteworthy. While we're here, let's look at both the Antarctica monitors, as they look weird every time we look at them. Always sending back cosmic ray data that does not agree with all the rest of the monitors. Indeed, they don't even agree with each other. Is it because cosmic rays are coming out of the Earth? Probably. Next, let's look at some of our more weird sources for cosmic rays. Cygnus X-3, located in the constellation Cygnus, the tail of the swan, the star Deneb, which is a massive X-ray binary. We see actually nothing too special going on there. Next, we'll look at Sagittarius A star, which is the ultramassive radio source at the core of the galaxy. And there, we actually do see something going on. We've got the highest transient that we've had since whenever this one took place. I don't know why they don't make it a little more convenient to be able to see what you're looking at there, but Julian calendar, I guess? I don't know why they notate it that way. But this transient right here is the highest one we've seen for quite a while. Now, for those of you not familiar with Sagittarius A star, here's the galactic plane. And the center of all the weirdness, center of the magnetic fields, and pretty much what's controlling the motion of the galaxy is located right there. Sagittarius A star, massive radio source at the center of your galaxy. We'll leave links below to all that, including constellationguide.com's description. Good description of that radio source. Have yourself a read if you're not familiar with Sagittarius A star on this New Year's Day. Next, let's look at Deneb. Again, a little refresher for those of you who are not familiar. Deneb is that massive X-ray binary we were just talking about. One of our favorite cosmic ray sources. And oh yeah, it's weird. It's a massive radio source orbiting a Wolf-Rayet star. There's where it's located. The tail of the constellation Cygnus. Tail of the swan, that is. And we'll leave links to that. Here's a star chart. Keep in mind we're located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. And this will show you the location of all your constellations. Just put in your location. And you can see where everything is in the sky. From where we are, Cygnus has already risen. X-3 has already risen. And let's just show you how this animates. It'll actually show you the rotation. We got Venus and Jupiter rising. Also Saturn and Mercury. Where will you be when Cygnus rises? Here's another article about Deneb, published earlier this year, about trying to calculate the distance. The most accepted distance is now 1,500 light years. It's very difficult to measure it because we're looking right down a polar jet of this massive radio source. Deneb is the most distant single object visible with the naked eye alone. And despite being incredibly far away, cosmic rays from this source hit the Earth regularly, which is what we were looking at earlier in the transient analysis. All links will be left in the description. Now, if you like social media, but you don't like censorship, we highly recommend you get a Minds.com page. We're located there. Minds.com/smashomash. And have we reached 400,000 views yet? 398,000 views. Minds.com. They won't censor you. By the way, it's better than Facebook in a lot of ways, especially in a multimedia capacity. If you're interested in making GIF animations like the one we just made, head to gifmaker.me. Facebook won't display these correctly, but Minds.com will. We'll leave links for that also. And there you have it. Hope you had a lovely New Year's Eve. Close things out on a dual screen view here at 193 angstroms and 304 angstroms. Yeah, we synchronized them for you. Yet another value-added service. Actually, they're not really synced. There we go, that's better. Thanks for tuning in. Have a lovely New Year's Day. Let us know in the comments what you're having for your New Year's Day meal. We're having boneless pork loin chops, sauerkraut, mashed potatoes, and lentil soup. Thanks, subscribers. Surprised we reached 750. As we head to 1,000 subscribers, we will be changing things up a little bit daily. Remember, on your way staring at the sun, don't drink. And if you drink, don't drive. And if you're staring at the sun, make sure you use the proper filters and instruments. Don't just go stare at the sun. That's really irresponsible. Galileo found out the hard way.